All right, hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to VL's fourth and final split of the season. We are in Division 2 today, where we will see Horizon Light fight the Frozen Vikings. I am Motojo, and I'm here with Ryle today. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, and today should be some spicy games because both teams are still looking to prove themselves. We've got Frozen Vikings, who are still more or less new, and we've got a team what not long ago got promoted. So both teams still have a lot on the line, and they still want to show up good. So
Yeah, definitely. Especially the Frozen Vikings, who rescheduled the game they would have had last week. So this is literally the first time VL gets a taste of what they can do. We see the first pick, Shen, already for the side of Horizon Light, and that, of course, is a big power pick.
yeah, no surprise Shen being locked in first. Heavily contested top laner, and obviously can be still flexed around. We still have the famous River Shen and obviously support Shen floating about. So probably going to be aimed towards top due to the bans, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. Could also, top and jungle is the most likely. Haven't seen support Shen in a while, and it's immediately answered by a VL special, who's found his way into pro play recently as well when we're looking at the World Championship. We have Malphite.
Yeah, Malphite's always a solid source for a top laner. Good engage, good laning, and you just scale really well. You become really beefy and hard to deal with, and it's one of the more simpler tanks in the game to always pull off.
Yeah, that unstoppable force. It's just rock solid, right? Followed up by the Jarvan, also a big CC jungler. So they seem to be looking for kind of a team fight comp already.
Yeah, already building up on that wombo combo, locking in the Jarvan with a Malphite there. But on the other side of the table, it was a Shen flex, so Shen is either going support or jungle here. We have a Mordekaiser locked in. I mean, he used to get flexed around when he was released, Mordekaiser, but right now he just sticks towards top lane. You won't really see any spicy Mordekaiser mid lanes.
Yeah, this fulfills two things, actually. It gives the team a good chunk of magic damage. Having the Shen in the jungle doesn't really hurt, but Mordekaiser is one of the champions, if not the best champion, to put against a Shen in lane. So now the Shen will be unlocked. You can't stop him from ulting around the map with anything. But the Mordekaiser ultimate convincingly, so Mordekaiser definitely a very good pick here, and very lane dominant as well. Salty Sam has been looking good on that last week as well. Answered by Nautilus against this Ezreal Mordekaiser line. How do you like the comp so far?
There's a scary amount of CC with the Nautilus, Jarvan, and Malphite all together. A lot of chain CC right there already off the bat, so if someone's caught, they're definitely dead. And even as an Ezreal, that's going to be very hard to avoid, because as soon as that dredge line is locked in on him, there's no avoiding that.
Yeah, now they just need damage, because with what they have so far, it's going to take around 50 bajillion years to even scratch the Mordekaiser's armor. So, really interested to see what they will be pulling out for damage, because they need champions that can do big damage.
Yeah, and exactly what you just said, because if they don't, Mordekaiser will have a field day against tanks. He loves playing against tanks. He'll play against tanks every day of the week, and you gave him 3 juicy targets, what says you can't beat me, but I can beat you.
Yeah, Zara and Aurelia gone for one side, and the Vayne has been banned along with the Kai'Sa. Aurelia has been banned every single game so far against Horizon Light, so not a big surprise on that one. Now let's see what the blind pick damage dealer is on the side of the Frozen Vikings.
Yeah, I think this is the part I'm most excited for, because they've already drafted 3 good champions. I just want to see what they're going to add for their consistent DPS, because it needs to be some good type of hyper carry, otherwise their damage might actually just fall flat.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see why they picked the Xerath when Ezreal is already on the other side as an ADC. I expected them to pick ADC now and hide the mid lane pick for last, but maybe their ADC is their biggest carry and they want to make sure to know the entire enemy comp before giving him a champion.
The thing I could think of is maybe they was going for an immobile AD carry and didn't want to reveal it just yet. They might have been looking at Phelios, they might have been looking at Jinx or something along them lines, and just didn't want to reveal it in case something like this happens. The Blitzcrank, the killer of a mobile AD carry. So they're kind of limited right now to what they can actually pick.
Yeah, Corki would be a very interesting pick. They do need some kind of physical damage source if you go for this Ezreal Mordekaiser combo for damage. Illusion has of course been a highly contested pick throughout pro play. A very solid mid laner at the moment, deals big damage, has good lane control, and gives you that source of physical that they so desperately needed.
Yeah, Lucian is a very good lock-in. Like you said, just a super strong mid laner right now. Fits into almost every comp because he's just able to command that pressure in that mid lane, able to be as aggressive as he wants to just buy pressure for whenever he needs it. And also with the Lucian being locked in, we pretty much have this Shen jungle guaranteed here.
Yeah, there it is. They are already shuffling around. The answer for 50 Kent on Frozen Viking side was the Tristana. We said they needed big damage. They drafted Xerath and Tristana, both on the hypercarry spectrum at least.
I still would have liked the mid lane being last pick here. I still agree with when you mentioned it earlier, because it just didn't make sense to hide AD carry for last, unless it was on a mobile AD carry. But when you're looking at things like Tristana, it just means you can give your mid laner that much more freedom and just say, you can see the rest of the comp, I'm fine with Tristana into Ezreal.
Yeah, so with both these team comps now revealed, talk to me, what do these teams want to do? How do they want to win the game? Or do you have a favorite just from draft alone?
So, in terms of blue side team, sorry, I don't know which team that is off the bat because of their club tags.
It's Horizon Light.
Horizon Light. So Horizon Light, they are looking to be permanently aggressive as possible because they want this Lucian to be able to fall into that side lane. And as soon as that happens, they can easily set up a 1-3-1. You have the Mordekaiser, who's going to beat most people in the side lane, and the Lucian, who's just going to be joined by Shen nearly every time. So they just want to set up for the 1-3-1. They might even go for an invade here, but I wouldn't recommend it because both teams have a very volatile level 1. But that's what I think Horizon Light will go for. On the side of Frozen Vikingz, you want to get to that save point. You want Xerath to get one item at least, so you can guarantee that consistent wave clear. As soon as he's at that point, you can have him start to move around to actually help this Tristana because Xerath's ult range is so long that he only needs to move a little bit to start reaching towards bot lane, and that's practically like him joining them on a gank. Yeah,
both teams definitely have dangerous invade abilities with the Blitzcrank hook, of course, but on the other side, lots of CC as well with the Nautilus. Of course, Jarvan not the strongest champion, level 1, but the Xerath can already bring out a lot of poke, so if an invade is going to be happening, I think we're going to see a lot of blood early on.
Yeah, that's for sure. I already think it's going to be a bloody game as it is, just looking at the comps. Both comps just scream, I want to fight. But one wants to team fight, the other wants to 1-3-1 essentially.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The side lane champions on the one side, and then the Shen that can jump to that side lane to find a kill if someone is caught out alone, or go away from the side where the stronger portion of Frozen Vikings comp is to find advantages elsewhere. I think in a straight up 5v5 in even gold, there is not all too much that Horizon Light should be able to do, unless the gold is not even and they have a lead. Then this Lucian could, or the Mordekaiser even, could overrun fights by themselves.
My only issue is, looking at the comp still, is if they group as 5v5 and Mordekaiser ults the Tristana, I just don't see where the consistent damage is to actually finish their team. And that's the issue I've seen with this draft. And it can be one of the main downfalls. If Mordekaiser gets his hands on Tristana, what's to stop him? Like, what's to stop his team running through yours? And the answer is very little, because you do not have any other consistent damage.
So we can already say, 50 Kent, you should probably buy a QSS this game. But we'll have to see what the teams decide to do as we're about to go into loading screen to take a short look at Summoners and these Keystone Masteries. With the spectator delay of 3 minutes now having gone through, we're shortly about to enter our game this week. Game 1 between Horizon Light and the Frozen Vikings.
Do you forget any spicy choices in terms of runes?
I can already tell you one. As someone who's played a lot of Malphite, I've not played a lot of Press the Attack Malphite.
I remember being a thing a while back. So when they changed Malphite's W to be more of an auto reset than it was before, because it was quite clunky before, it started popping up as a thing then. So you'd go PTA, you'd actually build a Trinity Force, which I know it sounds weird, but that was the build what was popping up. But it didn't fall through to too much success, so a lot of people just dropped that build in general. So it is very weird to actually see that come through, and also the Jarvan going for the Aftershock instead of the Conqueror here is quite interesting.
Yeah, similarly interesting on the other side. I'm not sure what most people do on the jungle Shen, but even there, the Press the Attack is a little bit surprising to me.
The Press the Attack for jungle is the most common for Shen jungle right now. Obviously, when you get the blade pull through, you'll be able to get that PTA really, really fast. You're not able to keep up grasp very often, so grasp isn't worth it. The other next most picked one you'll see is the Halo Blades. So the more consistent one is the PTA, obviously, because it opens up your team to do more damage to that target.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. So we have a lot of yellow keystones on one side. As you said, this Aftershock on Jarvan is a little bit surprising. It will give him that extra tankiness when he goes for the engage and hits that EQ combo. Apart from that, not really sure how good this will be, especially if they have him a secondary engage and want the Nautilus or the Malphite to go first. As we're about to go into this, we're going to have a sync-up, but gameplay happening any second.
Yeah, just the scary thing to think is if Jarvan misses that EQ, his tankiness is gone. His tankiness just isn't there anymore. So he really needs to be clean on these EQ combos in this game.
Definitely. Yep. Alright, and we are in game. 10 seconds have passed. The teams are about to leave the fountain. Let's see if the invades we have predicted are coming, and both teams are already stacking together.
Oh, they're looking for the top side invade as well. Hoping they could catch out the Malphite here, but Malphite's not over there, so it's not going to actually pay off, so they might just look for some vision.
Yeah, both teams still together. There comes the invade from Horizon Light already, while the Frozen Vikings just stick together in their own jungle. Maybe lighting a comfortable campfire or something. Not sure what their plan is, but it's been working insofar as to not die to an invade so far themselves. Good vision there from Horizon to have control over that red side jungle on the Viking side.
Yeah, two very nice wards down. Able to actually spot where the Jarvan's going to be at a certain points in the game. So, very good vision there. It's going to give some warning to Mordekaiser when he can be less aggressive as well. So, it's just really good information there. And Malphite's getting pinged out straight away as soon as he walks over.
Yeah, so now they know Jarvan is going to be starting on the blue buff. They know Malphite is going to be in lane. Good invade, even if it didn't lead to any kills or summoners blown. This information is just so valuable in these first few minutes of the game.
Yeah, and I think people underestimate how valuable it becomes because you've seen how instantly they pinged out Malphite. It just takes one person to ping him out, and then you already know that's going into comms. You already know they can be screaming, Jarvan's on Raptors, Jarvan's on Raptors, Jarvan's on Krugs, and that just tells you, oh, bot lane could go aggressive, oh, I can sneak Dragon, oh, I can take Rift Herald here. It just gives you the information to go for whatever play you want to make.
Alright, as these lanes have started, we already see the danger Lucian poses in this mid lane with some good poke onto who's Urka, or who Urka. Level 2 reached by the bot side of the Vikings though. They could look for an engage, decide not to go for it though.
This mid lane is definitely going to be interesting. I want to see if Jaded opts towards that tier Lucian build. And honestly, tier Lucian is one of the scariest things in the game right now. When you get to 3 items with Lucian, you'd think, oh, he falls off late game. But with tier, it actually gives him that late game insurance. And he actually shreds through tanks with Mana Moon. I didn't like it much myself, and then witnessing it.
Oh, taunt missed by Mithy in the top lane, so Lowlife, I'll just call him Lowlife, will just walk away pretty easily on that press the attack Malphite. Really interested to see if he's going to itemize towards that, or if it maybe was a mistaken rune choice.
Yeah, we will have to see how much this PT actually comes to affect this game for the Malphite.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see how many times he can actually proc it against that team, because they're quite a slippery team. Getting on top of Lucian, getting on top of Ezreal isn't the easiest.
Right, Jarvan walking over Vision in the top line, but Salty Sam is already very far forward. If Raforius comes in now, this could be a juicy one. He does decide to walk away there because he's only on half HP, and there is Mithy. Flashes over the Jarvan to miss the taunt. That was a curious one. Now Raforius still forced to flash by Salty Sam's Claw. Only 2 summoners blown, 1 flash of each jungler, and nothing more happening.
He attempted the EQ flash there, unfortunately didn't pull it off correctly, and because of that he just flew over to Jarvan, and Jarvan actually gets away with his life. Could have been a great counter gank, but unfortunately that's all she wrote.
Yeah, Mithy has accomplished something we haven't seen all too much, is flashing away from your own skill shot. Impressive feat, as both mid laners drop to pretty low HP, especially Akka, taking quite some damage from Jaded, who has the ignite that has to be respected.
Definitely does have to be respected, and so far Lucian is commanding respect in that mid lane. 27 CS to 21. He's keeping the pressure on the Seraph, trying to keep him pushed in.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while until the Seraph has a mana pool to actually push the wave himself. So this mid lane pressure could be used by Mithy on the Shen to create a lot of pressure around the map, and of course that is why you pick something like the Lucian in the mid lane.
Yeah, and that's exactly the pressure it brings. So Shen is just going to literally look to protect Lucian as much as he can, just so Lucian can keep doing this. Lucian can keep getting into the face of the Seraph. But the key thing to remember, Seraph does have barriers, so diving him isn't as easy.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to commend Lowlife in the top lane, who has kept up in CS, but first here comes a hook, and that's good damage onto upcoming Uzi. The bomb on him as well drops to almost 300 HP, healing up with a pot now, but that was a dangerous moment for a second there. Lowlife now TPing back into this top lane. Does mean TP advantage on the side of Horizon for Salty Sam.
We got to remember right here, Ezreal doesn't have heal, so if they got a little bit more onto him, that could have been so deadly, and there would be no heal to save him in that lane.
Yeah, the exhaust is not going to do much when your chain CC'd and just whittled down by the enemy. So definitely a curious summoner choice. Does make kind of sense against the Tristana, who wants to press Q to fire away a lot more in teamfights. Still, I really would have liked to see the heal instead.
The pressure we wanted to see from the Tristana as well. Seeing this locked in raised a lot of questions for myself, so I want to see it prove me wrong. I want to see its aggression, and so far we're getting aggression. They're constantly trying to keep the Ezreal pushed in and trying to deny Blitzcrank any grabs.
Yeah, that is again good damage onto Huaka from Jaded in the mid lane. He is out of mana though, so we'll have to be looking out a little bit. He's got Mithy shadowing him again, so we'll feel just a little bit safer there. Back to that bot lane matchup. I really personally do like the Tristana into the Ezreal, if your support knows what they're doing, because Ezreal wants to fire at you while he's pushing the wave, right? He wants to poke you with these Qs, with these W Qs, as we see a 3-man gank mid lane, flash knockup from Clifton, easy first blood for Jaded, no escape once Blitzcrank flashes into your face and knocks you into the air. Well-timed roam from Clifton while his ADC was in the base.
Got the Death Realm in the top lane as well.
Yeah, Lowlife will have to run away to the corners of that, but the Death Realm is round, no corners to run to. Now the Death Realm is over, but look at the damage he's taken. He doesn't want to use the ult to live. He has to flash here. Could have ulted away as well, but here comes the ult forward to try and kill him, and now the press the attack comes in. Shield from Salty Sam with that W. Can he turn around? No, he cannot. Lowlife gets the solo kill, and meanwhile in the bot lane, but Vaforius falls to the ignite from Clifton, and it's falling apart in the bot side for the Frozen Vikings, but their top laner with an impressive and very close solo kill onto Salty Sam while the dragon is starving.
There's two funny parts to that actual top lane fight. if the Mordekaiser wasn't so selfish to save his flash there, he actually kills Malphite if he just flash Qs him instantly before he has a chance to flash himself. But instead, Malphite actually buys his time, yet gets the flash away. Mordekaiser doesn't commit and actually loses his passive at the same point. So as soon as he's lost his passive, Malphite was just like, yeah, I can re-engage this. He had all his cooldowns back up. PTA actually made the difference. That's the funniest part about what happened in top lane.
Yeah.
If he had grasp, I don't think that happens.
Yeah, I personally, when going with Malphite against an AP champion, I really like the Meteor because it does give you an ability to poke back, and in situations like these, to just burst the enemy down. Though the PDA paying off in this regard. He's also up in CS, despite Salty Sam just TPing to lane after the death. So yeah, well done by him.
2 kills to 1 at 8 minutes 50, and nearly a 1k gold difference. Not too much in it right now, still anyone's game.
Yeah, mid lane control further exerted by Jaded, who is 25 CS up on Huaka. So impressive laning from him. Of course, it is a matchup that is prone to winning lane. 25 CS at 9 minutes is still an impressive amount.
It is indeed, and Xerath heavily denied in the mid lane is such a huge factor in this game. We mentioned about him needing that mana pool to actually consistently clear waves, and he's being denied that. He's had to go 2 amp tones, and it's going to be a while to even get his Luna's Echo.
Yeah. Also, Lowlife now pushing in Salty Sam in the top lane. When have you last seen a Mordekaiser being pushed in by a Malphite in lane? Impressive stuff, honestly. But we could see another roam here in the mid lane. Clifton doesn't have flash this time. Will need to land the hook. There it is, flashed away from Urka. That summoner's gone. Here comes the unstoppable force, though. Jarvan's here as well. There comes the Stand United. Is it in time? No, it is not. No Life kills Jaded before the Shen is here. Now Clifton has to run the ultimate use from Xerath as well, and it's 2 quick kills for the Frozen Vikings. And just now Mithy arrives. It's too little too late to save anyone from his team, and there's nothing to be gained on the back end either. Gold even 2 great kills from the Vikings.
Amazing kills from the Vikings here. Really, really good counter gank in this scenario. They was ready for the Blitzcrank to roam again. They knew he was missing from the bot lane, so Malphite stayed sitting mid, and because of that, they got the perfect re-engage there, and actually nuked down the Lucian before even Shen could arrive, and Xerath got a much needed kill in this lane.
Yeah, now he's finally got his lost chapter. He will have a lot more mana regeneration now. And Jaded does not have flash, so they could just try this again. Maybe this time with Tezzis roaming mid as well. He's been stationary in this bot lane so far, just never letting the Tristana out of his eyes. A lane swap has come in from the side of Horizon. We see Salty Sam now in the bot lane, while the actual bot lane players are sitting mid lane. This is probably to pick up this Rift Herald that Mithy has already engaged. Lowlife will just be happy to be solo laning against an AD carry champion as the Malphite right now.
Yeah, especially when he's sat on his Ninja Tammies and how much HP he's got. He's got the Bami Cinder, he's got the Catalyst. He isn't going to have a worry here at all.
Yeah, the bomb will pick up the plate as well. That's another plate into the pocket of 50 Kent. It's starting to swing towards the Frozen Vikings if we look at the momentum at least. The gold is pretty much exactly even.
I definitely agree with you there. I think the Frozen Vikings are in a better position right now as it stands. Whereas Ezreal still doesn't even have his Mana Moon done yet. Sort of got denied a fair bit in this lane. He's done a good job on keeping up on CS considering he's been power pushed in.
Oh, hook onto Salty Sam, who's all by himself. Now his Blitzcrank comes in from behind, but in the Death Realm, Tristana is king, not Mordekaiser this time. And it's another kill for 50 Kent. Now Clifton has to flash over the wall, but here comes Lowlife. The Malphite is primed and ready. He's rock solid, and he's got his ultimate available. Can Clifton escape from this one? Gets knocked up by the unstoppable force and will be killed by 50 Kent's auto attack, funneling more gold into Tristana's pocket. And now it's 5-2 in kills, 1,000 gold ahead, and they're gonna do a lot of damage to this tower.
And this is what we meant about the Vikings. The Vikings have just been better in terms of rotations, and it's showing. They're funneling down to this bot lane, coming to help this Tristana. Even though she's already winning against the Malphite, Mordekaiser there, they still rotate fully down to actually secure some plates before they fall off, because they still fall off at 14 minutes, so we've still got a bit of time left.
Yeah, I mean, with the Tristana, are you ever gonna fall off, really? It's an impressive showing so far, and I really like Lowlife Roams here this whole game. He's been where things have been happening on this Malphite, and the ultimate used to great effect 3 times now already, as the dragon has been engaged again by Horizon. Clifton trying to deny the blue buff, not managing to do that, but the Ocean Dragon is going to be on the map, while this mountain one has been picked up. It's 2-0 in dragons, so at least they have something going for themselves while being 1,000 gold down.
They might just even be looking towards that dragon game themselves. They might not actually be looking to fight at any point right now. They might just focus on trying to get these dragons, trying to get these mana moons both finished. Obviously Ezreal's got his now, he just picked it up, and they're working towards getting it fully completed. Then they might actually look to start fighting back a bit more.
Yeah, what worries me for them right now is that this Mordekaiser is pretty far behind that Malphite. Tristana gets another plate picked up. Salty Sam is not going to be having a good time at the very moment against Olaf. Look at this. This Malphite just auto-attacking away on him with the press the attack. Meanwhile, Mithy is in the bot lane, and Tezis will have to flash over the wall to live, but then gets hooked by Clifton. This will surely mean death for him. Mithy picks up the kill just before the Ezreal ult comes through. A little bit unlucky there, but well played from Horizon Light. Tezis pays for his mistake with his life.
Picked by Horizon. Very unfortunate that Ezreal wasn't able to pick it up with a True Shot Barrage, but hold on.
There is the taunt onto 50 Kent. They flash behind him, he flashes away. The shutdown goes to the way of upcoming Uzi, who flashes forward for that one. The Herald has been summoned as well, so that's a lot of damage onto the bot lane tower. They will not be able to finish it off quite yet. And now Erka has arrived. He gets hooked immediately, though. There comes the Jarvan, trapping 3 people in the Cataclysm. They pick up the kill onto Clifton, and Mithy is now so low. They will be saving this tower, and here comes the Zeroth ult, not managing to pick up anyone. Meanwhile, Lowlife is proxy farming in the top lane. And that was an interesting development. But for now, we're slowing down a little bit again.
Proxy Malphite. Who would have thought it? Who needs Singed anymore? Just play Malphite.
Something of note here, while Lowlife has to try to run in the Death Realm away from the tower, that bot lane tower was not picked up, but the mid lane one was. Jaded picks it up. Here comes the Unstoppable Force. But there's the Stand United. Blastcon used. It's a 1v1 again, but Salty Sam is on the chase, gets the claw just on the edge of it, and finds the shutdown onto Lowlife. Salty Sam is back in the game.
It shows how much resources was actually needed to take down this Malphite, though. They needed to use the Channel to actually take him down. Mordekaiser might be able to fight him a bit more once he's got his Leandry's finished, which he does actually have enough gold for right now.
Oh, there could be trouble. 3 people are flanked, and 50 Ken's already dead to the tower, picked up by Jaded. Taunt lands onto Tessus as well. They're chasing him so strongly. He will fall as well. Double kill going the way of Jaded, and they're still chasing Erka. Clifton, both skill shots miss here, and they will be walking towards topside, where Arthurius is on the chase of Salty Sam, but Salty Sam knows his whole team is coming. Can he survive long enough? There's the taunt. Mithy gets the CC. There's the hook from Clifton. Pick up the kill himself. Doesn't want to give it to Jaded. Me Blitzcrank, me kill. 8-6 in kills, and that was quick succession on the kills. And now the gold leads almost 3,000 plus the 2 dragons for the side of Horizon Light.
I criticized Horizon Light's rotations early in this game, but so far they've actually really picked up the pace. They started rolling with the momentum and actually getting these rotations off really well. And what goes to show with the Jarvan Aftershock, he used his EQ, the cooldown's gone. He no longer has the tankiness in him, and he hasn't even finished Cinderhawk. He went straight Titanic Hydra, so he is actually really squishy.
Yeah, no resistances whatsoever. And also not too much HP. Oh, he lands a hook on a recalling Jaded immediately. There comes the Nautilus ultimate. They're trying to get this down. The culling will do a lot of return damage. Tezis, why don't you even try to dodge? Falls to Jaded, who will pick up a solo kill on the support. I don't know why Tezis didn't try to dodge the culling there, but Jaded will be happy about that as the top lane tower falls. But now Lowlife has been flashed on by Clifton. They get the ultimate on. Olaf has his own ultimate available, gets hooked, knows now he has to go in or go out. Goes in with the unstoppable falls on top coming. Uzi gets exhausted a little bit too late. Can he get the kill for himself? He's so tanky, despite doing quite the amount of damage. And another hook lands onto him. Clifton wants another round. Olaf, though, wants to walk away this time. Doesn't have the unstoppable force anymore, so walks to his tower and lives. That was an extended skirmish, but they do not manage to kill the Malphite.
That's so interesting. I was very curious to how it was going to play out because I was watching. I was like, surely Ezreal doesn't have damage to kill Malphite, right? And it just extended. Malphite nearly gets the kill.
There comes the teleport to ensure this dragon take. The first ocean dragon has been started from the frozen, or rather by the frozen Vikings, who are about 2,000 gold down. Horizon wants to fight this, but the dragon's already gone. The Stand United came on onto Clifton. Double taunt on both carries from Mithy. Very well done, but now he's alone in the backline. There comes the Ezreal ultimate. So much damage. Everybody solo. 2 kills picked up. Jaded's on a rampage. Arca's in the death realm. He cannot get out of that one. The blast cone might save him, but he doesn't get out of the realm in time. Salty Sam picks up the kill, and Horizon Light find the fight, despite the Vikings picking up the Drake.
That's what I meant with Horizon Light looking for these dragon fights.
Oh, 50 wants to turn this around. The Shen W saving Mithy's life here. This skirmish isn't over yet. This time the ADC has to walk away. He almost got a kill onto the Shen there.
Unfortunate that 50 didn't have the Tristana ult there to actually shove Shen out the Spirit of Refuge. But almost a pick nonetheless, but talking of picks.
Speaking of picks, Lowlife versus Sir Salty Sam, round 1529. This time they both walk away though.
Yeah, they've both had enough of their tank fights. They're both just walking their own way now.
Yeah, as we approach the 20-minute mark, we can look at the state of the game for a moment. 4,000 gold is the lead, approximately, for the side of Horizon Light. After they were down a little bit, they have made a great series of plays to ensure they are in control of the game for now. Though the Frozen Vikings are definitely not out of here. They have a very fed Malphite, and of course with Xerath and Tristana, they do have that late-game insurance, and they will always be able to wombo combo some fights if the Mordekaiser cannot find the clutch death rounds.
The scary part is, though, when I'm looking at the gold across the board, all the gold is more or less on Malphite. And you look at the opposite side, Lucian has 7.7k total to Xerath's 5.2. That's a huge difference in the gold income between the mid laners.
That is true. He's also around 50 CS ahead at this 20-minute mark. That's a very impressive stat for Jaded, who has been known as a great mid laner. Even back when Horizon Light played in Division 3 last split, he was dominating all around. But he's keeping up his impressive performances. Mithy has another Rift Herald in his pocket, and they will be looking to use that. No outer towers left, though, so it's going to be a little more difficult to set this one up.
A bit more difficult. Shen's quite tanky here, so he's actually fine with this.
Oh no, 50 walks right into the trap. Jumps over the wall to escape, but upcoming Uzi with a snipe to ensure a kill on a Tristana that was in a place where she honestly had no busy being.
Yeah, she had no business being there, and she's only got a Storm Razor. You're not going to scratch Shen very much. You'll do a little chunk of damage, then he's probably going to kill you, and so going to kill.
This is an interesting state of affairs here. Here comes the dredge line. They're going for Salty Sam. Mithy's also there, though. Here comes Olaf from the backside. Salty Sam and Barthorius are in the death realm. And there is the killing spree for Salty Sam. Here comes the ultimate from Xerath, just not hitting anyone. A re-engage could be starting. Lowlife is the only one here. He gets taunted. He gets clawed. He's in the middle of 4 people. Ults out, gets hooked back in. That is a bit of ping pong. And so Salty Sam picks up the kill. The tower is also very low HP. And now Jaded versus 50k. The ADCs against each other. Jaded misses the culling, takes a good chunk of damage. But in the top side, the tower has fallen. He's 3 levels up. Can he win the fight? He's on 100 HP. Both ADCs survive here. Would like to see 50k try to go for this, as he still has the flash up, but has to respond to his own team losing the top lane inhibitor tower.
They just opt for the inhibitor tower, not much more there. The big thing on the backside of that fight, Cliff got a huge hook onto the Xerath here, and denied him actually joining that fight. And that would have been most of their damage. Other than that, your Malphite's your main damage, because Tristana's nowhere near. So denying him even entry to that fight was absolutely huge, and then he even got another big hook after that, pulling him back in. So hats off to Blitzcrank in that fight.
Yeah, while we're praising supporting players, look at Miffy. He has not died. He's been part of 14 out of 15 of his team's kills, and he's already picked up the Knight's Vow to be a true support to his team. Big props to him here.
Yeah, big props, because I didn't expect to see a Shen jungle in this division, not for a while at least. And he came out, he said, I have the confidence to actually play this, I can play this champion. And he's showing up really well on this champion. He's pathing really well, and so far he's just been really proactive.
Yeah, and despite going a very supportive build, no Tiamat, no Titank Hydra, he's also up in jungle CS against Raforius, which is not unimpressive. Now, meanwhile, the top laners fight each other again, as this next dragon has been engaged. Everyone's in position, everyone wants to fight. Another hook lands from Clifton onto 50Cant, who jumps back out. The fight has meanwhile started. Lowlife's in the middle of everybody, gets the shutdown for his support onto the enemy Lucian, but Salty Sam's unstoppable. As the retribution comes in, Raforius will fall as well. Double kill for Salty Sam. And this dragon will surely go towards Horizon Light, who now are on Soul Point. 7,000 gold almost ahead. And surely the Baron is their next objective.
Salty Sam getting his retribution. After being bullied about by this Malphite, he's had enough. He's snowballing really hard now. And probably has enough gold for Nash's Tooth in his back pocket. Which he does. So he is at a really strong power spike, especially when he bases, and he's going to be even harder to deal with.
Yeah, they're keeping up the push at the moment here for this inner tower to further increase their gold lead. Doesn't look like they can quite get it yet. They want to reset here as everybody is back alive from that last fight. But now the clock really is ticking for the Frozen Vikings, with 3 dragons in the pocket of the enemy team, and the enemy team being so far ahead in gold. They have to find something, at the very least, some vision in the bot side of the map to prevent the Dragon Soul in a couple of minutes, because if the Dragon Soul falls and it's Ocean Soul, there's not really much they can do anymore.
And I just realized as well, Raforius hasn't got a sweeper yet. He's delayed on that, and because that Horizon Light has been controlling most of the vision the entire game, you really have to be one of the people helping out with that sweeper, trying to get that vision back for your team so you can protect them from ganks, you can protect objectives from even happening.
Yeah, definitely going to be a tough time for them now, as Lolaf is being pulled in by the Claw once again, but this time gets to walk out, as Clifton wasn't in range to hook him. The map has become a lot more dangerous, even though he's a very tanky Malphite. He will die if he finds himself in a position where everybody from the other team is, and he goes in. There's the combo, Unstoppable Force, and the Xerath ultimate, but Jaded is still alive. These Xerath hits just not hitting. There comes the taunt. Jaded had the Stand United on him. Here comes the culling, and Malphite has to run away. Meanwhile, in the jungle, they're being chased through their own half of the map, and Horizon Light seem in full control.
You're looking for the pick onto Jaded there. Would have been absolutely huge if they take him down before this, but not able to secure it. The Shen saving his life there was absolutely huge. We do have both Mana Moons already spiked with the Trinity Force, with the Essence Reaver. So it would have been the best pick they could have got, but unfortunately did not happen.
Yeah, and they're falling further and further into the hole gold-wise, as they're being starved of their own jungle and of lots of CS. Well, they're being constantly pushed in on all lanes, and we have to remind you there's an open inhibitor in the top lane, so if they don't pay attention rotation-wise, Horizon Light could just take that in preparation for that next dragon.
We do have a needlessly large rod in Xerath's inventory. He's not locked in towards the penetration or Leandri's here. He's going for raw damage, going for that Rabadon's, but he needs to get that gold for it.
Hook misses there, but the whole team is arriving. They want to try and fight something. There's the taunt though on Lowlife, and look at how much damage he's already taking from Mordekaiser and Shen alone. He's not going to live long. He's in the realm of death, and Sir Salty Sam is godlike. Well, Tezos has been picked up as well after a good hook from Clifton, and now it's 5v3 on the map. Salty Sam's on the wrong side of it though, as the rest of his team are diving the inhibitor towers. The shutdown goes through for 50 Kent though, and that's exactly where you want the gold. And here comes the right of the Arcane. He's not hitting Jaded. I don't think he's hit Jaded with more than one of these shots so far this game. But at least they find one pick. They do lose 2 members before that, though.
They get that pick, they get that tower. Now surely they should be looking towards that Baron objective. Knowing that Shen has 2 levels on Reforius here, should be a very easy objective for them to pick up, especially running double AD carry.
Yeah, 2 minutes until that crucial spawn is happening, and they already have complete control over the enemy jungle on the blue side, so not a lot speaking against them picking up this solo at the moment. So very good look for Horizon Light after some hiccups in the early game with that solo kill for Lowlife and with that skirmish on the bot lane, but since then they've been in complete control. And they show us they have ambition in this division. They don't just want to sit here. They want to go further.
Definitely want to go further. They're pushing their aggression into the enemy jungle now, trying to get vision down to secure this dragon, but they're looking for a pick sitting here right now.
Yeah, the famous Fnatic Deathbush, of course. Blitzcrank, one of the best champions in the game, to pull this one off. Malphite has teleported below, though. If he hits a good ultimate, this could be anyone's fight. Salty Sam's already engaged on him, though. The ultimate goes absolutely nowhere, but Salty Sam still falls. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Here comes the culling. So much damage. Malphite will fall after a hook, and Smithy is still alive. He does not die, this man. 50k falls to Jaded, who has to stand united, tries to go over the wall, fails to dash, flashes then. They get the ace, they will get the Dragon Soul, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go for Baron after that.
Yeah, straight dragon to Baron. They should already be sending one over, but it doesn't really matter. They have time to play with, so it should be the Baron secure as well.
Yeah, they're gonna regen like crazy as well from that Ocean Souls. They don't need to really care about the damage that Baron Nashor does to them. By now, their gold lead is almost 10,000. It's gonna be more than that once the Baron is picked up, and it's still around 10 seconds till most of the members from the Frozen Vikings are alive, so there's not going to be any contest. This Dragon Baron falls so quickly with a double AD carry, and it's looking very much like a win here for the side of Horizon Light.
Yeah, it's going to be too little too late for Vikings to come back into this. Unless they can find a miracle fight with Malphite getting a multi-man ult, I don't see much of a way back into the game for them, but there's still opportunities. It's still not completely over. I realised as well, despite Lucian snowballing, he opted towards the LDR instead of going Infinity Edge here, which is a very interesting pickup. There obviously is some tanky members on the enemy team, but I still think the Infinity Edge would be more beneficial because you'd be able to one-shot that Tristana with just literally one rotation with PTA.
Yeah, I tend to agree here. The tanks don't really matter, and Lucian is going to be able to shred through them quickly enough anyway. They have the the Mordekaiser as well to kill the tanks. Really would have liked some more burst damage. Item choices from Jaded here to easily and quickly kill the Tristana and the Xerath. Speaking of the Xerath, he honestly hasn't really been much of a factor. If you pick a champion with only skill shots, you need to be able to hit these. In this game, at least, Urka has not been able to do that very well.
Yeah, showing the flaw in their draft right now because exactly what we mentioned time and time again. They have no other consistent damage other than this Tristana, and it shows. Like, I think most of the damage which has came from this game from Vikings has been from Malphite.
Yeah, just imagine Urka plays Orianna this game. It's a completely different game. Puts the wall on Malphite, Malphite goes in. They can win any fight, no matter how behind they are in gold. Here comes the depth charge onto Jaded, though. He gets everything onto him, and there the Stand United just comes too late. It cannot save him. There's too much damage. Lots of ultimates have been expended, though, and now Lowlife has been caught. The Blitzcrank ultimate takes the shield away from him. Mithy tries to kill him, does not manage. Manages to walk back into the base. Now Mithy's in trouble. Here comes the right of the Arcane. This time they're all hitting, and it's a shutdown for Urka, as if he heard me. What is the opposite of a caster curse, Ryle?
I don't know, dude, but either way, they get 2 huge shutdowns, which exactly what they needed. This is going to delay the Baron push. They're still opting towards it, but they might not be able to get this tower anymore with 2 of their key members off the map. Lucian, arguably the most fed member of Horizon Light, isn't here anymore.
Yeah, so they will have to pull away. delaying the advantage they had gotten with the Baron, also putting the gold back towards that 10,000 mark. It had exceeded that quite a bit already, but with these two shutdowns, it's a bit below 10,000 again, which is of course still a huge lead to have, but there is a slight sliver of hope now for the Frozen Vikings. They do not have to go to Valhalla just yet.
Not yet, indeed. They still have a few moments. They can still hold on. Exactly what they did there. Seeing the Lucian exposed and just using everything on him because he had such a big shutdown. And it was completely worth it. It denied their push. It killed their most fed member. They still have that option again if they can find this Lucian.
Yeah. The problem they have, though, is they're still so far behind. And in around 2 minutes, the Elder Dragon spawns. And if that is picked up, there's no way they can defend their base against it. The problem is how to get there. Look at the map. There's 0 red wards on the map outside of their own base. 0. Complete map control for Horizon Light, and they will decide when and how this dragon is taken. And the Frozen Vikings will need a little bit of luck to prevent a loss at the hand of this massive objective.
And you see the jungle now completely littered with blue wards. Like, you need to get in there, you need to clear it out, but getting in there is no easy task, like you mentioned. It's not going to go for free. Any bit of vision could have a Blitzcrank sitting around the corner, and you don't know where he is.
Yeah, they've got even control wards towards the base. Look at this. In the small corridor between base and blue buff, there's a control ward. On the blue buff itself is a control ward from Horizon. And they are preparing for this. A minute until the dragon arrives. 1 control ward's cleared, but they're still very much confined to their own base, the Frozen Vikings. That feast in Valhalla might be closer than they wish.
And we have quite a big itemization error from Jarvan, in my opinion. So going Aftershock, you already know you want to go tank. And instead, he's opting towards trying to build Black Cleaver. That will not help his team at the stage. You need to go Gargoyles. You need to be sitting in their face for as long as you can to buy as much time for Tristana and Xerath to put out the damage. Yeah, so I feel like that's just a really big mismatch in terms of what he's buying.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Also, he has literally 0 armor items against a double AD carry comp. Sure, upcoming Uzi has built the Liandry's Torment, so he will do a little bit more of magic damage than most Ezreals do, but still, it's no armor on one of your main tanks against double AD carry. Malphite is very tanky when in the armor department, only has 1 MR item though, but there already is a taunt onto the Xerath, and Erka is dead. Here comes the culling. Beforius has to flash away, still falls from the ignite, double kill for Clifton. The chases onto Tezis, who will die as well. Salty Sam, meanwhile, has killed Malphite in the top lane, and this surely is game.
Yeah, Viking's strongest member not there. Malphite being in the top lane just as a signal of saying we can engage.
Yeah, Kent falls as well now to upcoming Uzi. It's a clean ace for the side of Horizon Light. They don't even need the Elder Dragon now. They will just end the game here.
4-1-23 Shen. That speaks in volumes when your team has 29 kills.
Yeah.
That's insane performance from the Shen jungle, and I don't think we'll be seeing it again. I think it'll definitely be getting banned or heavily prioritized.
Yeah, I don't see the Vikings giving up the Shen against Horizon Light in Game 2. That was a commanding performance from most members, or rather all members on the team, but the Shen definitely a standout, part of 27 out of 29 of his team's kills. Being everywhere where he needed to be, hitting some clutch taunts, but definitely a very great performance from Horizon Light, who have shown up to play today.
Yeah, they're going to be a team to watch for a lot of people, and I want to see Vikings sort of rebuild on terms of how they're going to draft, because you need to have that consistent damage. It's going to be as just repeating it again and again, but when you look at it, where was the damage coming from? It was mostly Malphite. He had 18k damage, the most damage on the team. The rest of your team did next to nothing compared to him. The only person came close was Tristana with 17.9.
Yeah, especially that Zerath pick definitely not paying off. So they will have to have a short team talk before game 2 to decide how they want to draft in game 2. Speaking of game 2, we are going to see that in a couple of minutes. We're going to a short break, and then we'll be back for game 2 of Horizon Knight versus the Frozen Vikings. Don't touch that browser. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Valence League Division 2. We are still in the 4th of 4 splits of season 2020. Things are heating up, and we have Horizon Light, who are 1-0 up against the Frozen Vikings today in our 2nd division. Rael, they have substituted someone out and someone in. Lil Cloud has come in. Do you think this changes any dynamics here?
It's definitely a big change in terms of Miffy impacted the entire game and had 2 kills which he wasn't involved in. That speaks in a huge volume of how much work he did, so must be a solid reason why they're switching in Lil Cloud. Maybe Miffy has to go, maybe he's busy right now, but big change. So we're gonna have to see how Lil Cloud is gonna navigate this game.
Or it's a 400 IQ mind game, making the Frozen Vikings think they don't need to ban Shen after all, as Mithy is gone, and then they pick Shen for top lane. Something like that.
It is a possibility, but it's whether Shen is actually going to get 3 bans or not. The Blitzcrank got banned, rightfully so. I think Cliff had a lot of really good hooks in the game, and he had really good patience. He didn't instantly go for hooks. He did this very important thing, which is just called pressure. He's just walking up to them, like trying to pressure them to flash before he even goes for the hook. They're trying to predict where he's going to hook. He's just holding on to it, holding on until they crack under the pressure, then he hooks. So I think he did a really good job on the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, also if you're behind, it's so tough mentally playing into a Blitzcrank, because whenever you try to put some vision anywhere, you have to be afraid that there's a Blitzcrank over the next wall who will just hook you into his entire team. We see Blitzcrank, along with the Blitzcrank, the standard ban of Gnar and the talent that gets banned away from Jaded so often. On the other side, Soraka, Yasuo, and Samira are gone. Now let's see what the first pick is. Shen's not banned, that means he's being picked.
Yeah, they definitely had a strat in mind. They said, this time we're not dealing with it, we're taking the Shen. And Lilith did have a very good performance on this Malphite, so it looks like they're swapping champions. They're taking the Shen, and Swordstam said, you know what, I'll have the Malphite this game, I don't care.
Yeah, do I have a deja vu right here? Shen first pick, Malphite next. What's happening? I don't expect Cloud to get the job. Oh, it's the Lucian again, probably for Jaded. There it is, locked in. It worked very, very well in the first game, so no surprises here.
So, personally, I would have liked one of the bans switched out for a Lucian ban, because I do think the Lucian was heavily impactful in the early game, and was the source of where most of their gold was coming from. Because Lucian got so far ahead, he impacted the team fights and other people picked up kills. So, I would have liked to see him banned, but he's come through this game, and we have a spicy jungler who I've not seen in a while.
It's Nocturne. I mean, Knight has played it mid for JDG earlier in the World Championship, so who knows? We expected to go jungle, of course, but it's double global already for the Frozen Vikings. They want to play the map this time.
You'll probably get flamed really hard for saying JDG. Knight is from Toppy spots.
Oh yeah, I keep messing these two up because they've played, like, I've only watched the LPL finals both times, and both times it was these teams. I can never remember who's playing for what team. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry to all the watchers and tonight. Lilia is the pickup for Lil Cloud here, so the Lilia-Lucian duo that is so feared.
It's definitely feared, and Lilia is hard to deal with, especially when you're not fully understanding the champion. A lot of people still don't even know what she does correctly, and it speaks in volumes. Lilia's able to get in, get out with assassinating people in and out, and she is deceptively tanky at some point in the game. When she gets her Liandry's and her Runic Echoes, people underestimate how much it takes to take her down. She's still relatively squishy, but she still takes more of a hit than you would expect.
Yeah, also I've seen some people, after Liandry's in another AP item, go tanky items on her, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but she will be deceptively hard to kill, just as you said. Ashe, Tristana, and Ezreal are the next bans, so full focus on the AD carries here.
I honestly would have just said let them have the Tristana here, because it really was not impactful and it really did not impress me, the Tristana pick. I would have gave it over on purpose, because despite the Tristana pressure in lane, out of lane in phase, it really was not impactful.
Another ADC gone that could technically also be played support, but recently it's almost always an ADC. Senna, so 4 of those bans in the second phase. Now let's see what the next pick for the side of Horizon is. They still need a jungler. Oh wait, never mind. They still need their bot lane just.
Still need their bot lane, so it's going to be interesting to see what they lock in here. I prefer... Yep, thank God. I prefer that they just pick the support, and that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, another champion where they say, you just played it, we can do that too. There's the Nautilus for Cliff, another champion with a hook. And I'm already scared for the Frozen Vikings of all these hooks that are going to be coming out from the bot lane. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a Yone. This is the first time I'm casting it, definitely. Haven't seen it in VL much yet. I think it's a very curious choice, because Yone is another mechanically pretty intense champion. And Urka has not looked the greatest with these skill shots in the first game. But we have the Syndra as well, so we're going to see who's bot lane and who's mid lane with these two champions.
Yeah, I was going to say, who says it's going to Urka? There's still a chance yet. We do not know where they are going. More than likely, will be the Yone mid lane, because I have not seen it work bot lane to success. And Syndra makes a lot more sense into Kai'Sa as well. Kai'Sa being able to be bullied around, especially early game. But this mid lane is going to be scary. Jaded is on Lucian again. A champion he already shown that he can bully this mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. And then there comes the damage profile aspect as well. They have, yeah, Yone does physical damage mostly, but he's a melee champion, just like Nocturne is. They don't really have consistent DPS coming in the physical sense, which isn't the worst thing in the world if you're going against Malphite, right? But the damage profile is still going to be a bit iffy in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It's along the case of, again, consistent damage. Your consistent damage is a melee range champion, and a melee range champion in front of Malphite, he's not going to enjoy having his attack speed slowed, I can tell you that.
Yeah, there's just more issues I even see with their team composition, because if you want the Shen in the side lane because you want to make full use of the Stand United, there's only squishy champions in this team. You know who likes playing against squishy champions? Lilia and Lucian, and even the Kai'Sa. There's this good engage on the side of Horizon Light. I like their comp very much. It's very rounded up. It knows exactly what it wants to do, and it can react very well to what the other team wants to do. So Frozen Vikings need to put on a clinical if they want to stay in the series.
They will need to indeed, and they're trying to play a similar comp to how they just played against, more or less, because they want the Nocturne to join someone in the side lane, but ideally they want 2 people to join this Yone in the side lane. That's what they want. They're aiming to get this side lane pressure, so they really, really need to protect this Yone early. If they can get into that stage, without being picked much, that is their solid win condition. But it's not too solid when it's just one person for your main damage. And like you said, Urka had a really rough time in this mid lane against this Lucian, and he's facing it again.
Yeah, and this time he's on a melee champion even. Something Lucian really likes to play against, believe it or not. Last time he had the Zereth, which has a lot easier time farming waves than the Yone has. The Yone actually has to walk up and kill the waves. So really, really interested to see if he can have a better game in this second one. Looking at the bot lane matchup, how do you think this is going to go? Who has the pressure here early on?
I think 50Ken and Tessus should have the pressure early here, but when I say should, it doesn't mean a lot so far, because last game, despite the Tristana having all the pressure in the bot lane, it meant nothing. So they could have all the pressure again, but are they actually going to be able to punish Uzi this time around?
Yeah, last time he was able to still farm pretty well in the bot lane on the Ezreal and have big impact in the team fights. So putting him down is going to be not the easiest thing in the world. Also, with Syndra and Morgana, it's not like they have great pressure to pull down the tower unless the Nocturne and the Shen arrive there for a 4-man bot lane party, which of course they could do from level 6 onwards.
And also, Lilia is favored on red side because she's really good at counter ganking that bot lane from that tri-bush just behind the tower. She is really scary from long range engage. People always underestimate how long that ball she can throw out comes, and she's level 6. You might be going to sleep.
Yeah, let's see how well Lil Cloud is going to be on the bowling Bambi as we go into loading screen very soon. So then we can look at these choices for summoners and keystones again, because last time there was a couple things we had to note.
There's 2 things I don't like already. No. We have a Conqueror Nocturne, which I do not think you'll be able to keep Conqueror up against that team. That's already bad news bears there. I do not think you're going to be able to keep it up against that team at all. I think Electrocute or Hail of Blades is far more efficient. You could even go Lethal Tempo. And Yone not going Fleet Footwork is a big L. Yone, as a champion, wants to survive laning phase. His laning phase isn't the best. It's a similar phase of Yasuo. You want to get to your item power spikes, which is your PD, which is your Infinity Edge. You're not going to be able to get your Conqueror very often against a Lucian in lane. I do not like this pickup.
Well. When we come to summoners, we have Uzi on the cleanse, which makes a lot of sense against Morgana and Syndra, as we're about to hit the pause button for our synchronization. Also, no heal on the other side with the teleport on the Syndra. Correct.
Yep.
Alright, we are in game. Are we going to see another invade from Horizon Light? They have don't have the Blitzcrank this time, but Nautilus is similarly potent level 1. And we see both teams stacking once again.
This time is the reverse way around. It's so funny seeing this because they're just doing the same thing again, but on the opposite sides.
Yeah, stack built. They seem to be afraid of an invade, but this time the Frozen Vikings do go for the invade themselves. They don't just stand around their own jungle. Putting down the first ward, going towards the blue buff.
It's a real shame that none of these teams actually stacked in a bush, because both times it would have worked. But neither team has done it. They're both more or less counter-invaded each other and just placed wards down. So not a lot of action happening on these evades, just a bit of ward.
Yeah, I do like the wards from Horizon a bit better than the ones placed by the Vikings, because that ward in the banana brush towards the river is not going to do much of anything there.
Yes, and exactly what Lilia did. You ward, you base, you get that early sweeper. It's so beneficial. It's one of the best strats you can do as a jungler right now. And this is exactly what they did.
Alright, as we find ourselves in the lanes, both junglers starting on the bot side, it would seem, but Lilia has started on the Raptors, which she is one of those champions that can just do that and not get punished for it.
They had the information that Nocturne started red from seeing the Shen walk over that ward. So, very important ward again. Able to pick up that information.
Yeah, and Lucian's already killed the whole first wave, while Akka on the Yone has exactly 1 minion kill so far. Now it's 2. Gonna have a tough time in the early game. There is the dredge line. Misses 50 Kent though. Good return damage with the balls. Syndra's gonna have a good time in the early game, I think, unless hooks hit her repeatedly.
Yeah, it was a good attempt by Cliff there. Didn't come through, took a lot of damage in return.
Oh, there's a taunt. There's a Q. That's good damage with the sword going through Salty Sam, but now he's going to try to return the damage. And he did not pick up the press the attack. He picked up that Grasp of the Undying, which will make his laning phase a lot more sustain heavy. A lot easier for him to stay healthy after these trades.
Pot's already using that top lane, so only the Doran Shield for sustain now. So that's already down the way.
And they've already started fighting. That's good damage from Jaded.
Yeah, coming out on top on these trades again. And Yone started Doran's Blade into a losing matchup. That's very brave of him. He's not going to have that same sustain that Doran Shield will give him.
Yeah, brave's one word. That's the solo kill. Ignite coming through, dashes forward. That was the most obvious thing that ever happened in the history of ever. But yeah, good solo kill for Jaded. Already punishing this Yone pick, especially without the fleet footwork.
I hate to say it, we've seen it coming. Jaded bullied hard game 1. We knew this was going to happen.
Salty Sam is a level down on Lowlife, who had control of the top lane in game 1 as well, and he's doing pretty well on the Shen here as well.
Malphite, though, is very volatile to be dove here. This Nocturne is pathing around.
Yeah, he's on 200 HP only. Only a Doran's Blade to his knife, so he's not going to heal up much further. They could really try to dive this level 4 reach by him now. That makes him a considerable amount healthier. Are they still going to go for it? Arthurius is here. Now Lowlife took a lot of punishment there. There comes the taunt. There comes the Q, but the tower shot's doing so much damage to Lowlife. Arthurius picks up the kill, flashes away from the tower to survive. And it wasn't the cleanest dive. Cost them 2 flashes, but they do manage to kill Sam.
Yeah, shutting down Sam early, a very good thing to do, because it happened last game. They shut him down. It took him a fair while to get back in the game on Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser is more item efficient than a Malphite. Malphite's a lot harder to get back into the game, especially with it being harder for you to CS when you're behind. You're able to be punished a lot more because you do not have your tanky stats yet.
Yeah, so great kill. Also, I think it's pretty important and good for them that the kill did go onto the Nocturne, a champion that really, really wants to snowball.
Yeah, especially with that Shen Nocturne combination, you really want Nocturne picking up these kills, so you can just shepherd that Shen to that backline with the Nocturne ultimate.
Yeah, a very potent combination of champions when you combine these ultimates, but yeah, Urka is still being punished in the mid lane by Jaded, who's already around 20 CS up 5 minutes into this one. And he just keeps bullying him. Look at all this damage from the repeated double shots. Urka definitely not having a good time at the moment.
He dies for first blood and buys a dagger. It's a very interesting question to why you're not going cloth armor. You need to rush some defenses, or even work towards a Doran Shield to sustain here.
Lowlife getting a good trade onto Salty Sam once again here with this Shen. He also has the grasp, so he's going to stay just as healthy in these trades. And when the taunt hits and the sword goes through the Malphite, it's going to be a good trade. There it is again. Look, Salty Sam, he's already in trouble. He could die almost. That was a great dash from Jaded to ensure another solo kill in the mid lane after the culling. And Urka probably not happy here.
Yeah, it's not going to be a fun time for him. This game is not going to be a fun time for him at all. Jaded is already snowballing. 2 kills, 50 CS to 16. Urka is going to take at least 25 minutes to get back into this game properly, unless he gets a massive shutdown.
If the game it goes that long. That is already a question here with how fed Jaded is. Look, he's level 7. Urka's level 5. Arthurius is level 4. I don't think they can do anything against Horizon taking this dragon with Jaded around. Cloud has to just be careful to not get killed by the dragon itself. Arthurius is coming in from the bot side and Urka from the top side. They're trying to make a pincer movement. Dragon has been slain. Clifton will fall. The kill goes to Syndra. Now Jaded wants to kill Urka again. The Ignite's on him and he's just going to survive. Barely. There comes the Kai'Sa W. Kai'Sa not level 6 yet, so can't jump in for the finish. And it's Dragon for a kill on each side. But Dragon picked up by Horizon Light.
Living on a sliver of HP there. Urka nearly picking up his 3rd death already. 7 minutes. Not having a fun time, and they might even be looking for.
Look at that dodge from Jaded. Pixel perfect dodging the taunt. And now Yone, Urka on the Yone losing even more farm as Lowlife picks up that wave in the mid lane because Urka had to recall after that skirmish on the dragon. And now look at the CS difference. It's a 40 CS lead for Jaded after 7.5 minutes. Rough.
Definitely rough, and it's about to get rougher.
Oh, there's Clifton with the roam. There's Jaded with another kill. Oh god, I feel bad for him, honestly.
I do too, but not banning Lucian, you kind of opt into this, especially with how well Jaded played.
Yeah, and they also picked the Yone into the Lucian. They knew exactly what they were getting themselves into, or rather, they should have known what they were getting themselves into. He's not picked up a minion in, I don't know, 4 minutes around that. And this Lucian keeps getting further and further ahead.
Now the Yone is getting a Yasuo treatment. Just camp him, tilt him out of the game, and this must be a tilting game so far.
Oh, good dodge from Sam against low life. Can he get some return damage now? He is impressively enough ahead in CS against this Shen, who has been roaming a little bit more. He was at that dragon while Salty Sam was not. So that could be a reason for that CS discrepancy in the top lane. But he has stabilized the lane at least. He's not getting bullied around by the Shen. Which is very good for Horizon Light. With the mid laner this fed, they will be looking towards Rift Herald soon, and they need at least a stable top lane for that.
And the Kindle Gem Rush is an interesting one, opting towards that CDR, trying to be around the map more with your ultimate. So it's very interesting that he rushed it instead of just picking up the Bami Cinder to be able to push in more and actually trade harder with the Malphite. Because obviously when you CC, the Bami Cinder damage comes through, and it is a lot of damage when you think about it.
Yeah, I really don't like the Kindle Gem. With Shen, you're basically sinning unless you rush Titanic Hydra first. Unless there's one of a few specific matchups, you almost always want to have Tiamat into Boots into Titanic. Every single time. And the Kindle Gem is not any item you want to build anytime soon.
Yeah, I think you can either go the Bami into Tiamat or the Tiamat into Bami. Both work, and they're both very cost efficient. They're both very easy to build. And obviously, he backed for enough gold for a Kindle Gem. So,
there is the return. That was not the engage Clifton wanted to have with a Black Shield and a Nocturne and immediately jumping onwards. Uzi is jumping forward, though. There comes the Stand United. They've already picked up 1 kill. But no more coming through. Look at Tessa's. No! Cloud gets the kill still with the damage over time. So both supports fall here after about everybody on the whole map has arrived, except for the mid laners and Salty Sam. And we already see a 2,000 gold lead at 10 minutes for Horizon, who pick up a kill on the back end of a bot lane skirmish.
Light, that's just going to get more and more. This Lucian is still rolling that snowball, 89 CS to 24. He has all the freedom in the world, and he's picking up a Rift Herald.
Yone is in possession of 2,100 gold after 10 minutes 40 seconds. Let me tell you, that's not a lot, and he's about to die again. Oh, gets out with the ultimate. Had to use that Fate Sealed to not die to the Lucian. He's straight up not having a good time. He's going to have to recall again, which will grow this CS lead even further for Jaded.
Meanwhile, Malphite? Rift Herald? Let's do this, boys. Like, I don't know. That's a really free Rift Herald opportunity right there. No one's there to defend it, and no one can defend it against a Lucian and a Malphite together. Interesting that they're opting towards saving it.
Yeah.
But
I can think of one reason. This Yone is being absolutely curb stomped by the Lucian at the moment. If you're not killing the tower, he will have to walk all the way to that outer tower every time he wants to go to lane. I think maybe that is the reason they didn't pull the trigger here. But, yeah, I still would have liked to see the Herald summoned for that tower.
But with 4 plates on the tower, it still wouldn't insta-shot it. It would get it down to like 1 plate at least. And then you can just hold it at that 1 plate and just be proactive. He still has to come back to the tower, and you've collected 3 plates before 14 minutes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, with the dragon alive, they are looking towards the bot side of the map now. Cloud is here, but Orpheus is also there, so we could see another fight here. And if it's another fight that Horizon wins, this game is blown immediately completely open, I think.
Nocturne also going attack speed. Odd choice, very odd. You want to get a burst. You pick Nocturne to be a burst sort of assassin. You don't pick him to be an attack speed champion. You don't pick him to be on hit. So it's very odd that he's opting towards this, but he is part of their 3 kills. So far he's doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, at least this time he's consistent with his rune choice, right? If you go Conqueror, you want some attack speed, I guess. Salty Sam and Olaf, meanwhile, 1v1 in the top lane. They're both pretty low HP. A good placed Unstoppable Force from Salty Sam could kill Lowlife. But there comes the taunt. If the taunt's first, that's so much damage on. The Unstoppable Force comes out after the fact they're both under 200 HP. Flash away from Salty Sam. But look at this, Clifton's behind enemy line, Steps charge comes onto the Syndra, the Black Shield a little bit too late. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they want to shut down the Lucian, and they get the shutdown! Urka gets the kill even, Jaded gets the kill in return though. I'm not sure entirely how that happened. There comes the Stand United to save the bot lane, here comes the teleport. Salty Sam does not have the ultimate, they still go for it, that's another drench line hitting. W from Shen will keep them alive just a second longer, but Tez's falls, 2 upcoming Uzi. And the turret plating is about to fall while the lead is still around 2,000. But here's Herald.
It's Herald indeed. 5 plates on that tower. They have 20 seconds, so they need to work at it fast. They got demolished, but a TP behind them, and one in front too.
Yeah, that's going to be a 2v3, and they're already low HP. Upcoming Uzi is below 400. Here's the taunt. There's the stun onto Clifton from 50 Kent. That Herald summoning cost them 1 life.
1 life. 4 plates. Still not bad. I think you'll happily actually take that because you have a 2.4k gold lead after that. 5 kills to 6 though. It's a lot closer than I expected with how much Jaded was actually snowballing this game on his back.
Yeah, he didn't leave the mid lane once though. I think that's a big reason. They have this huge lead in the mid lane. It's by now 80 CS. That's 80. That's a lot. But he's not tried to snowball this advantage towards other lanes. And so he was easily gankable in the mid lane, he was very far pushed up, and in the 2v1, Yone still does damage, because the numbers on the abilities are pretty high. The depth charge has gone out for him, the culling for Lowlife, can they get the kill? He's on 200, but 2 more orders would have been needed to kill that one. Cloud does not get the bowling ball to kill him. There is the sleep, but it only hits Yone, not the Shen. They will keep this push up in the mid lane, but for now, no kills.
I'm very surprised that it's taken us this long.
That's the Unstoppable Force. Tez is already almost dead. Goes golden with his own ultimate and will fall to upcoming Uzi here on the Kai'Sa. Donated over from Salty Sam, and here comes Lil Cloud as well. 50 Ken should have run for the hills a long time ago, but didn't see the Bumby coming, and now he has to run to his own tower. Will survive for now.
Will survive indeed. I'm surprised it has taken this long to even get 1 tower down. Both teams still have all theirs. It's very odd considering we look like this game was going one way.
Yeah, especially in the mid lane. Look at this. 2 minions, and he's got the Flame Horizon onto Urka, but still the tower stands in the mid lane. Odd choice for them to not kill it, but to just have the lane stand, to keep bullying the Yone. As I said earlier, it's a tactic I can at least explain away, but it does stop the snowball a little bit. It's still around 3,000 gold a lead for them at 16 minutes, along with 2 dragons, so they're still very much in a commanding position to win this game. It's still a bit of an odd choice. And here comes Jaded, finally ganking another lane, and Lowlife is the one to have to feel it. Against Salty Sam and Jaded, I don't think he has a way out. The press the attack is in, Jaded gets the kill, his 5th of the game, and that was easy.
Does it simple roam, Malphite pretty much just setting out for him, slowing him on repeat. What can you do? Even if you flash, you're not getting out from there. Jaded picked up a very nice, easy kill. Meanwhile, Yone is going static Shiv when he is losing is a very odd choice.
Yeah, also Flame Horizon has been reached at 16 minutes and 40 seconds. I think that is the earliest Flame Horizon I've ever seen in my entire life. Pro play or VL. Jaded straight up destroying Urka in that mid lane. They're going to pick up the Rift Herald as well. I think this time they're going to summon it a bit earlier.
I hope so this time. I really do hope so. Let's see if they can be a bit more proactive with this one. See if they can get a lot more of it. We do have 2 mana moons. We are 550 on Lucian's and 230 on Kai'Sa. So we still got a little bit to go. Lucian's not too far from his.
Yeah, 3 seconds until Dragon, so with the Rift Herald in their pocket, this is the next monster they're going to try to kill. Will Cloud and Clifton are already there, the Dragon's already engaged, but the whole other team is there, except of course the Lowlife, who has the Stand United available, so they could be looking for a fight here. because this would be the third dragon, which would put them on soul point already. They're gonna try to steal, but Rafurius is too late. Will just jump to his own death in the pit. Odd choice, but a kill and a dragon for Horizon Light to keep chasing. Poor Urka is the target again. There comes a good turnaround from Syndra, but Cloud lives on a sliver of HP. Probably 1 digit only, but he does manage to live. Lucky for Horizon Light, but you know the saying, it's skill when luck becomes what you have every time.
Yeah, escaping 1 HP. Cloud hasn't had the same effect as Miffy so far. Hasn't really had too much impact. Only part of 2 of the kills so far. Meanwhile, Jaded has 6 of the 9 kills.
Yeah, you do have to say though, 5 objectives picked up by Little Cloud, 3 dragons and 2 Rift Heralds. That is something in itself as well, right? Something we haven't talked about yet is the top lane matchup. Of course, we've described what happened. Another gank onto low life 1v1 though. But Salty Sam by now ahead, and that is not only because of the assists he has, but if you look at the CS, he's around 30 up. Doesn't have the unstoppable force here, or low life would have no life. And so he will have to walk away from his own tower, which they will be starting to push in now.
And Shen doesn't have a single item completed yet. He's struggling for items, and this is what I mean about the Bami or the Tiamat. At least go for one of them first. He delayed it with the Kindle Gem, and is being really punished for this. And like you said, Malphite is now up 20 CS and punishing him on any trade. Yeah,
and Shen still gonna be a while until he has a full item completed. And that's not going to feel good against the Malphite. He's already finished the Sunfire Cape and is itemizing toward mana to be able to punish him in lane even more. 2 outer towers have already fallen from the Frozen Vikings. The top lane one could be the next target, or they're trying to blow up mid lane more. Now, another Nocturne ulti onto Jaded, who has to flash away. Clifton's in the middle of 3 people, but upcoming Uzi is nearby. Here comes the depth shot, and here comes the teleport as well from Salty Sam. Yone is into everybody. Clifton exhausts Urka, and there's 2 people in. Clifton's fallen. There comes the unleashed power to kill Jaded. That is the outplay button that Syndra has. They find the kill. Rayman unstoppable force from Salty Sam. They get 1 kill onto Urka. They're chasing 50 Kent now. No way out for the Syndra, or is there? Flash forward double kill for Salty Sam, and even though Lucian dies, Horizon Light win the fight.
Salty Sam rescuing the team fight on the back of a big unstoppable force. That 3-man knockout was absolutely huge for actually turn the tide here. It looked like disaster for them, where Lucian actually got destroyed by 50 Kent. 50 Kent was playing the team fight really, really well on the backside, but then Salty Sam arrived.
Yeah. That was, these 2 definitely the standout players in that fight. What I want to say though is, despite being Flame Horizon and absolutely destroyed in the early game, Urka somehow manages to find these kills. He's got his 2nd one of the game already. He's still absolutely massively behind, but he's already got, pardon me, he's already gotten more gold than his top laner.
Yeah, he is very strong, you could say that for sure. Malphite has nearly 2k gold difference on the Shen here, and Lucian speaks in volumes. 8.8k to Yone's total 5.5k. It's going to be a while before Yone even gets close to catching back up with that. It's going to need some serious gold.
The first pick Shen also not really paying off. There's the unstoppable force, there's the Lucian. Lowlife will ensure that it's going to be 1 more second till he dies, but Dead is dead. And that's another easy kill onto the Shen, who is not having a good time. The first pick, as I said, not paying off. There comes the Drowsy. The spell sheet will not save you from that. There comes the depth charge. Can they get the kill onto Rafurius? He smites the blue buff for some HP. Gets hooked in again. Flashes over the wall to live. The damage over time from the Lilia will tick him down a little bit more, but he is going to survive. Well done here in the 1v2.
Yeah, well done indeed. But back to what you mentioned, the first pick Shen really has not came up this game, and has really, really been punished, just in general. Anytime he's looked for a play, he's been punished. Anytime they've Shen ulted to start a fight, they've been punished. It just seems that they're being beaten to the beat. Every time the enemy team is just there first.
There's the taunt, Syndra's there as well, but Salty Sam is a tanky Sam, and so he's not really going to care about that scatter the weak. Yeah, what you said rings true, I think. The Frozen Vikings do not look like they have experienced much with playing the Shen themselves. And they knew they wanted to pick it away from the other side, but they don't really know what to do with it all that much. Look, another taunt onto the support, where's the Aftershock. Here comes the Nocturne ultimate, but Arphorius falls already! There goes Urka, but he's just jumping to his own death. There comes the Unstoppable Force! And now Tessus will fall as well, and now one by one they fall. Triple kill for Jaded. Lil Cloud has been slain by 50 Kent, who is having an impressive game on that Syndra, but it's just not enough. The rest of his team is dead. Gets a Scatter the Weak to save himself even further, but this will mean Dragon Soul for Horizon Light.
The sad news is, if this was a 50-50 game, like both teams are even, Urka's ult there is absolutely massive.
That's a good kill for 50 Kent. He's 6-1 on the Syndra. He is doing absolutely everything that he can to carry this one. But his team is still 8,000 gold down, and now Horizon have the Mountain Soul as well, which will make it also more difficult for 50 Kent to burst someone down with that unleashed power.
Yeah, Salty Sam, he's already not dying, and how are you going to kill him with a Mountain Soul on top of him is just going to make things even harder.
Yeah, how are you going to kill him? I think the answer is you don't. At the moment. You do have to kill the 3 squishies. And pretty quickly.
How do you kill him? The answer is no, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to that team fight, by the way. Like I said, if that was a 50-50 game, like both teams are even, Urka's is almost game winning. It was such a huge ultimate. He got 3 or 4 men there, but because he's so far behind, because Jaded has done such a good job in this game, he's not able to provide the damage for his team, and it just turns around with Sam getting a big ult again.
Yeah, and look at the solo laner CS on the side of the Frozen Vikings. I don't know if it's only the laners just being crapped on the whole game. But it's probably also a bit of their lane assignments. Hold that thought while the Shen is being bullied again. This time the kill goes to Lil Cloud. It was a 4v1. There was just no escape. He had no business being that far out without any vision behind him. The rest of his team is going to get this mid lane tower at least. But that was just an unnecessary death for Lowlife. And yeah, both these solo laners have sub 100 CS at 25 minutes. That's not where you want to be. Speaking of not where you want to be, Cliff, you don't want to be in the middle of 4 enemies, and he falls to 50 Ken. Kill number 7 for the Syndra.
Yeah, nobody else was there. Cliff is definitely having a day and night performance, because last game he barely made mistakes. This game he's made at least 3 or 4 where he's just been out of position or chasing too hard.
Oh, speaking of chasing, Urka and Arphorius are here for Jaded. Jaded's not alone though. There comes the Nocturne ultimate and goes right back out. Urka's dead already. And here comes the chase. Unleashed power to get the shutdown. 8th kill for 50 Kent. They get both down. They lose Urka, but they're going to say worth it every day of the week.
Every day of the week, indeed. Syndra getting another kill. 50 Kent is firmly in the game. He is one of the big carries for this game and can actually put it on his back. He actually needs to get that Void Staff almost ASAP to be able to deal with the front line. But right now he does have enough damage to deal with these squishy targets.
Yeah, it does look like he's building towards a Banshee's Veil, which does make sense in a way, because he just, if he dies, the fight's over, right? Now he's being bullied by Salty Sam down, Clifton's right behind him, he doesn't have the Unleashed Power available, he doesn't have Flash, he just dies, he can delay the inevitable only a little bit, but the shutdown goes over to Salty Sam, and once again a member of the Frozen Vikings has been caught in a place where they had absolutely no business in being.
And this is what I mean. What are you exactly going to do to this Malphite? And again, the answer is no. Malphite's just slapping you about with the Iceborne saying, what are you going to do? Your death's coming and you can't touch me.
Yeah. It's taken a while. My fists may be made of rock and with ice, but they're going to be a while. But there's no way you're going to get out. And especially with that Mountain Soul, as we said earlier, he can kill one target, but then come the tanks. Speaking of the tanks, the Baron Nashor has been engaged, and look how quickly it's falling. Again, they have the double ADC. They get the Baron easily and without contest, and now their gold lead is almost at 10,000. Frozen Vikingz need a miracle to stay in this game for another couple minutes.
It's been 27 minutes for Shen to complete his very first full item this game. That speaks a lot with how ineffective the Shen pick has been. It just feels like they took it just to take it away. And Horizon had a straight answer. They said, we can play the Malphite this time. And they just hard bully him with this Malphite. Malphite is arguably looking more effective on Horizon's hands because Salty Sam's only died once.
Yeah, and he's not only taken very long to get something from Boris, he's also been scammed, because he's against 280 carries and he has a Spirit Visage. What is he doing? Sure, the Kai'Sa does deal a lot of magic damage with the Nash's Tooth and the Rage Blade, but it's still a ton of auto attacks. Just build Randuins.
Build Randuins indeed. Like, what are you going to do to this? And looking at items, they're just so far behind in terms of gold. There's nearly 10k gold difference right now. It's very hard to even stop that poke. Look at the damage.
Yeah, oh, there comes Yone, there goes Yone. He doesn't dare to ult in there, even though he had a good lineup for that. But look at the Shen, he's supposed to tank people. He has one tank item and a Tiamat versus 280 carries. You have 3 items. How are you gonna survive any kind of damage from them? While you're being poked as well by the Lilia, by the Kai'Sa. It just looks hopeless right now for the Frozen Vikingz, who are losing their inhibitor tower, and the inhibitor is sure to follow as well. The only question here right now is, do Horizon Light fancy their chances at ending the game? The answer seems to be no. They want the Elder Dragon, which of course casually spawns 29 minutes and 40 seconds.
Hold on a minute.
Oh no! Oh no! There comes the hook, there comes the kill. Salty Sam's on a rampage. Tez's falls as well. Depth charge was on him already. The Black Shield can't save him. Now flash forward from upcoming Uzi, making his namesake proud for the double kill. And that's 3 dead on the side of Frozen Vikingz and Rael. I think this is going to be game.
That definitely is going to be the game. Too little too late. Any pick here wouldn't even matter.
Yeah, and they don't even get one. They don't even get one, expending everything they have. 29 minutes, exactly at 30 minutes, the Nexus explodes for the 2-0 victory of Horizon Light. Congratulations.
Big props to Salty Sam this game as well. Game 1, he actually got bullied about on his Mordekaiser, despite even showing up good later in the game. This time he said, right, I'm just going to bully you in the Malphite, and he had his fun this game.
Yeah, especially one very, very clutch ultimate, if you remember that bot lane skirmish where they killed the Lucian, and then he gets 3-man knock-up and saves the fight for the team. But overall, this game too was absolute domination from Horizon Light, especially coming from that mid lane. In the end of the game, he's almost 130, actually over 130 CS ahead on Urka. He's more ahead in CS of his enemy laner than both enemy solo laners have in individual CS.
What's scary, so if Sam didn't get that clutch ultimate, that could have been the light for Vikingz. That could have been their way back in, because they got some huge kills there. Syndra picked up 2, I believe, which was absolutely massive, but then Malphite.
Yeah, definitely a good pickup. As we said already in Champ Select, their comp was very, very well rounded, and of course, then if your mid laner picks up the speed like that, they just seem unstoppable. We have Clifton in the waiting room, who will answer some questions for us in the interview now. And there he is. Hello, Clifton. Congratulations on the 2-0 victory. How are you feeling after this one?
Yeah, pretty good, you know. It was kind of easy.
The second game definitely looked like it didn't have too much tension. When you saw the Yone locked in, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy was Jaded with his Lucian?
I mean, I can't believe he counterpicked himself. I don't know if he's never played against Lucian before, but yeah, it was not fun. I think how we from like 30 CS, like 15 minutes or something.
We basically said it in draft as well. Like, as soon as I seen it locked in, I was like, why is Lucian not actually banned in this draft? Because
yeah, I don't know.
Jaded snowballed game 1, like, really hard, and no one could stop him. By the time they stopped him, they needed 5 ults to stop him. This time they didn't have a Malphite to have 5 ults on him. And they was just like, yeah, you can have Lucian into Yone. Yone doesn't exist.
Yeah, if Jaded wants to know, he had a Flame Horizon around 16.5 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
Onto that Yone. So definitely a pick that has not panned out for the Frozen Vikings. After this series, they're a completely new team in VL. What do you think? How do you think they're going to do in this division?
I think they should do okay. I don't think they're the worst team in the division. It's difficult to tell because there's a few teams that are like brand new, like SGO. So it's difficult. They should do fine though. Their top laner seems pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
Mid laner not so much.
Yeah, I really like their ADC's performance as well, going 8-3 on the Syndra in a losing game. It's not the easiest thing to do, but back to you guys. You lost the first series last week, 2-1 against Wif's Elite, but now you dominated the Frozen Vikings in the second round. So do you think you have a way towards playoffs? Do you think you can join your sister team in Division 1 next split?
Yeah, I think we shit the bed hardcore last week, so this week was more of a an actual performance the way we should be playing. Whereas last week, even in the game we won, we didn't look super clean. But yeah, we're turning it around. I think we'll make playoffs. I think realistically, I think we were favourites to win this division as well. So it'd be a shame if we didn't do the back-to-back wins.
So I've got a question which is about jungle. What was the reason why Miffy wasn't playing game 2 and Lil Cloud was?
Miffy retired. Miffy is no longer playing jungle, but because we had him in our lineup, so we couldn't sub Cloud him for game 1 or we'd lose bans. So that was literally the last game of jungle Miffy is going to play for the team because he doesn't want to play jungle anymore. So yeah, he's been on the team since Split 2, and now Miffy is no more. So yeah, we're going to miss him. But
that's very sad to hear because how much of an impact he actually had in that game was insane. He had 27 of the kills was he involved in, and then 2 of them he wasn't. And no flame to Cloud, it just looked like Miffy was so much more of an improvement as a jungler. It seemed like the synergy was already there, and you could tell he played with the team for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a pick thing as well, isn't it? I think Shen can easily apply pressure, and Miffy is quite practiced on the Shen. I think Cloud's pretty new to Lilia, and Lilia just provides pressure in a different way. She's more of a tank shredder late game, so you can't really get a lot of participation with Lilia early. But yeah, Miffy played that game 1 really, really well. It's sad to see him go, but I'm not going to force him to stay around.
Yeah, you're certainly gonna miss him. I got one more question similar to the last one. You said you were going to be favorites for this division and you want to live up to that. Now, after your defeat to Wif's Elite, do you think they are your stiffest competition, or do you have your eyes on someone else in this division?
I don't. It's so hard. I don't know. I can't really decide who should be up there. I guess Wif's Elite should be, but that game was more us playing bad than them playing well, in my opinion. They played fine, but we just really shit the bed in that series.
All right, Ryle, do you have any more questions for Cliff?
Not really. I mean, the last thing is just a compliment because I'm really happy to see that some teams are actually drafting Lucian and understanding how to use him because he is so strong right now, and he's still a flex pick. Obviously, he's more favored in mid lane right now, but it's nice to see that teams are actually understanding that this champion is strong and how to play him. And you played him really well both games, I think, with your team comps.
Yeah, I mean, our sister team has been playing Lucian in scrims for a while. So I think Jaded, who plays a lot of AD champions anyway, decided to pick him up, and he bullies lane so hard, and that kind of fits Jaded's playstyle. So yeah, and we can flex it bot because Uzi plays Lucian as well. It used to be one of his main champions, so it's a really strong pick. I don't understand why people aren't picking it up.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Speaking of praise, since I'm also almost all out of questions, apart from members of your immediate team, is there anyone you want to specifically call out positively or negatively before we wrap up this interview?
I can't believe that Azco made it onto a Div2 team.
Well, you're going to have a way to punish the team that did that if you think he doesn't belong there. For now, I can only say congratulations once again on the 2-0 victory, and good luck for the rest of the split to you guys.
Cheers, mate. Looking forward to casting with you again, by the way.
Yeah, same. Speaking of looking forward to things, we have still a match going on Official Valorant League 1, so once we're done here, we encourage everyone to go over there. They're still in Game 2 between Deja Vu and the United Poros of Runeterra. So I really hope you guys tuned into that one. It's a Division 1 match that I've been looking forward to watch, and now I can even watch it live. For now, I thank you very much, Cliff, for the interview, and I want to thank Ryle very much for casting with me. It's been an absolute blast.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys. GG, and thank you for the games.
All right, then we're going to wrap it up. Thank you as well to all our viewers. And as we said, hop over to the main stream, where there might be a pause in game right now, but it's going to be picking up soon. And it's going to be a banger, definitely. So hop over there and have a good one.